House News at 7. Governor Ayodatiwa seeks Ondo Assembly's approval of 12 commissioner nominees. State's pardon for Ogoni 9 sparks jubilation in Niger Delta. First Lady Oluwemi Tinubu promises support for albinos. And from the foreign scene, nuclear scientists and Iran's Revolutionary Guard on receiving end of Israel strikes. Thank you very much for joining us tonight on the news at 7 on Osrc television. My name is Oyewumi Ayenigbara. Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has forwarded to Ondo State House of Assembly a list of 12 nominees for the position of commissioner in the state's executive council for confirmation. In a letter addressed to Speaker of Ondo State House of Assembly Olamide Oladiji, the governor nominated Professor Igbekele Ajibefun, Abiola Olawoye, Ayodele Akonde, and Alabi Johnson. All the nominees are Amidu Takuro, Adewale Akinlosotu, Idowu Ajanaku, and Dr. Oluwaseun Osamaye. The rest are Dr. Tob Loko, Olaolu Akindolire, Sunday Olajide, and Segun Omoyofumi. Governor Aiyedatiwa, in exercising the power conferred on him by the Constitution, requested expeditious action of the Assembly in the overall interest of the state. The governor restated his commitment to strengthening the state's executive council and providing good leadership to the people of the state. As Nigeria celebrates 26 years of continuous democratic governance, the nation reflects on one of democracy's most vital pillars, freedom. Many regard this freedom as essential to effective leadership and good governance. This milestone is widely reviewed as a significant step towards national progress. Nigerians also take time to honor the sacrifices made by courageous individuals whose efforts paved the way for the democratic system enjoyed today. In light of this year's Democracy Day theme, June 12, losses and gains in relation to today's democratic realities in Nigeria, Osrc's reporter Omoriola Ongbeji gathered insight from citizens capturing their thought on the journey and current state of democracy in Nigeria.
Is the procedure of making a constitution. Electoral results must be respected.
This is a vivid illustration of Nigeria's current democratic landscape, where citizens, regardless of age, gender, or status, have a platform to engage leaders and demand accountability for the nation's progress. Even on Democracy Day, various groups, activists freely staged protests to demand an end to poverty and insecurity, a right not always guaranteed in the past regimes. Notable Nigerians like Jamiu Ekunga see these achievements as key gains of democracy, emphasizing that nothing compares to the democratic setting.
The worst democratic government is better than the most benevolent military and dictator. Like they said there, a dictator is being praised because he's giving people food. So what life have you come to live if you are not free to say what you want to say and do whatever you want to do just because you are eating? People in prison eat. They give them food now. So there's no way you can compare democratic setting with autocratic setting.
Elder statesman Shendi Alugbofa identified freedom of the press, freedom of movement, economic opportunities, and infrastructural development as significant benefits of Nigeria's democracy, while also recognizing the ongoing challenges that threaten the system.
Gains of democracy, free press, opportunity to grow, a lot of infrastructural developments that had to be sustained.
Legal practitioner Adenike Ademujimu called military rule an aberration that disrupted democracy, but expressed optimism for the future, stressing that freedom is the cornerstone of progress.
Military regime is an aberration. Since 1999, about 26 years to this time, that we have unbreakable democracy in Nigeria. We can talk, we can express grievances, as the case may be, if things are not working well.
Representing the labor movement, chairman of the Trade Union Congress in Ondo State, Clement Fatwashi, stated that the union now has a voice and expressed renewed hope for a better Nigeria.
As one divine democracy, you talk, I talk, and the talk continues, just like our under discussion continue. The democracy is an institution.
Politicians Samuel Ajayi acknowledged the lives lost to attain Nigeria's current democracy, noting that the system is still evolving and has room for growth.
Lost a lot of life during the course of June 12. A lot of life were lost, and I see it as a form of sacrifice. I know one thing: there is no gain without pain.
Grassroots politician Victor Olabinton stressed the importance of collective effort to fully achieve the benefits of democratic governance in Nigeria.
26 years after democracy, we have made some significant strides. However, let me state categorically, we have away from where we used to be, but we are not where we are supposed to be. And therefore we have made some significant progress. And one of the significant progress is that there had been an unbroken 26 years of democracy, first in the history of Nigeria. No military intervention, no military interregnum. That is one. Two, we have been voting since, which means we are already practicing democracy. Democracy is not something you start in a day and then you master it. Things are changing. And if you look at our electoral law, a lot of changes are taking place daily. Like the use of beavers, the use of formally, everything is changing. And we will get there. I know for sure we will get there. We are not there yet, but we are definitely going to get there.
Amid all these perspectives, one gain stands out clearly: freedom. As Nigeria advances on its democratic path, it is hoped that citizens will continue to embrace this freedom by actively participating, voicing their concerns, and contributing to national development. After all, democracy, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, can only be flourished whenever citizens play their role in making the system work. Omoyola Humbiji, Osrc News.
The full posthumous pardon of Ken Saro-Wiwa and the 8 other Ogoni activists by President Bola Tinubu has drawn wide acclaim from Niger Delta leaders. The Ijaw National Congress and INC Pan Niger Delta PANDIF Movement for the Survival of Ijaw Ethnic Nationality in the Niger Delta Mosend and others hailed the president, saying the gesture would deepen the peace process in the Niger Delta. INC President Professor Benjamin Okaba said the gesture was an important step towards acknowledging the supreme sacrifices of the national iconic heroes in their fight against environmental injustice and the abuse of human rights. Mosend leader Kennedy Tonjo West said the decision remained one of the best inclusive actions the administration had taken so far. PANDIF Publicity Secretary Ken Robinson described the gesture as an olive branch and urged the Ogoni people to accept fully the president's kind gesture. Edo State Governor Monday Pueblo says the security architecture of the state has been restructured as his administration has flushed kidnappers out of the key zones and drastically reduce cultism to its barest level. The governor also revealed that his administration is building a new Edo that works and protects its people as well as delivers tangible results. The governor gave the revelations at an event held in the state capital to mark this year's Democracy Day. Governor Okpebolo said June 12 reminds the people that democracy is not just a system of government, but a call to justice, unity, and purpose. He urged Nigerians to continue to uphold the values and culture, unity, and progress that defined the nation as a people. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has intervened in the dispute between Air Peace and former Edo State Governor Adams Oshiomhole following a confrontation at Lagos Airport last Wednesday. Keyamo confirmed that he has been in direct contact with both parties since the incident occurred and has instructed aviation agencies to refrain from making hasty conclusions. Amid growing public exchanges between the two parties, Keyamo appealed for calm and urged both parties to desist from further accusations and counter-accusations. He also ordered a full-scale investigation into the incident, directing the relevant agencies to collect all available evidence and reports to his office. The Nasarawa state government has denied claims that it harbors bandits that normally attack communities in Benue State. A former Federal House of Representatives from Benue State, Mark Gbila, had alleged that attackers of Benue State communities were being harbored in Nasarawa State. But Senior Special Assistant on Public Affairs to Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State, Peter Emba, said the allegations have no iota of truth. Ayimba further described the allegations as malicious and misleading, stating that Governor Abdullahi, who is incidentally the chairman of North Central Governors Forum, who was working for the peace in the region, could not turn around to allow criminals find hiding place in the state. He said that the allegations by the former lawmaker was to tarnish the good image of the state and to disrupt the interstate relationship between Nasarawa State and Benue State. The Defense Headquarters says the troops of Operation Delta Safe Harbor in the last 1 week discovered and deactivated 21 illegal refining sites and apprehended 23 oil thieves in the Niger Delta. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcos Gange, made it known while briefing newsmen on the operations of the armed forces in Abuja. Gange said the troops had sustained operational tempo against crude oil thieves and other criminals in the Niger Delta during the week on the review. According to him, troops also discovered and destroyed 25 crude oil cooking ovens, 32 dugout pits, 19 boats, 40 storage tanks, and 28 drums. Gange called for cooperation and support from all citizens in the collective effort to overcome the nation's security challenges. And you're still watching the Residential News at 7 after the break. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu promises support for albinos. Please to join us for this and more. Thank you very much for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has reaffirmed our commitment to advocating for the rights and well-being of persons living with albinism across the country. The First Lady made this known in a statement in Abuja, expressing solidarity with Nigeria's albino community as they join the global observance of the day. The 2025 theme of this year's commemoration is Demanding Our Rights, Protect Our Skin, Preserve Our Lives. Tinubu described the theme as a powerful call to action emphasizing that persons with albinism deserve not only equal rights, but also dignity, safety, and access to quality health care. She added that Nigerians must build a society where everyone, regardless of skin condition, can thrive with pride and dignity. Nigeria's albino community recently launched a national campaign aimed at ending discrimination against persons with albinism. And in health, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention (NCDC) has confirmed 142 deaths and 747 cases of Lassa fever across 18 states in the country as of epidemiological week 2022-2025. In its latest situation reports, the agency noted that the case fatality rate stands at 19.0%, slightly higher than that recorded during the same period in 2024. According to the report, the number of new confirmed cases rose from 6 in week 21 to 8 in week 22, with Ondo, Bauchi, Edo, and Nasarawa State accounting for the new infections. The NCDC revealed that 91% of all confirmed cases originated from Ondo and 4 other states. While there has been a reduction in both suspected and confirmed cases compared to 2024, NCDC emphasized that it remains vigilant, continuing to coordinate response activities through its national multi-partner, multi-sectorial incident management system. In a major policy shift set to reshape Africa-China trade relations, the Chinese government has announced plans to grant Nigeria and 52 other African nations full duty-free access to its vast consumer markets. The new trade initiative by President Xi Jinping to African foreign minister will extend zero tariff treatment to 100% of tariff lines for all African countries, maintaining diplomatic ties with Beijing. The move builds on a previous policy that benefited only 33 least developed African nations and is part of China's broader strategy to deepen economic cooperation with the continent amid intensifying trade tensions with the United States. If implemented, the zero tariff regime will allow virtually all Nigerian goods, from agricultural produce and manufactured items to solid minerals, to enter the Chinese market without the burden of import duties. Nigerian-Australian woman Binta Abubakar has been arrested by the Australian Federal Police for allegedly trafficking students from Papua New Guinea and forcing them into unpaid labor on farms across Queensland under the guise of educational scholarships. Abubakar was arrested at the Brisbane airport upon arrival from Papua New Guinea, where she was primarily based. Her arrest follows a 2-year investigation by the AFP's Northern Command Human Trafficking Team, which launched a probe into her activities in July 2022 after receiving a tip-off from Queensland Police. She has been charged with 31 offenses, including 4 counts of trafficking in persons, 14 counts of deceptive recruiting for labor or services, and 13 counts of engaging in conduct that caused the persons to enter into debt bondage. The offender was granted conditional bail and is expected to appear in court again on September 19. Israel has launched a wave of strikes against Iran, targeting Iranian nuclear and military sites. The UN nuclear watchdog says the Natanz nuclear site in Iran has been struck by Israel, but they have not observed any increase in radiation levels. Taiwo Adewumi has more on the story.
It's a nuclear program. Its main Iranian enrichment facility, Natanz, on fire. In the Iranian capital, the homes of those possibly involved in the country's nuclear program destroyed. Israel has its target infrastructure and individuals across Iran.
We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program.
Among the targets, the chief of Iran's Revolutionary Guard, Hossein Salami, has been killed, according to Iranian state television and the unit headquarters in Tehran hit. The Israeli strikes also killed at least 2 nuclear scientists, Fardon Abbasi and Mohammed Mahi Tarasi. Israel's broadcasting authority says they targeted 10 scientists. Several children have also been killed, according to Iranian television. Iran's supreme leader says his country will retaliate. In Jerusalem, sirens wailed as Israel started its attacks on Iran, while in the main city, Tel Aviv residents started stocking up in anticipation of Iran's response. The U.S. government says it isn't involved in Israel's strikes. U.S. intelligence sources quoted by the Reuters news agency say that the recent intelligence assessment that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon had not changed, nor was there any indication that Amani had authorized the restarting of Iran's nuclear program. Even so, the U.S. knew Israel was preparing to strike Iran's nuclear facilities. Benjamin Netanyahu says the operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. Adewumi Taiwo, Osrc News.
And still on the foreign scene, public disorder broke out in Northern Ireland for the third successive night, with reports of a fire in a leisure centre in the town of London after masked youth smashed the building's windows. Hundreds of masked rioters attacked police and set homes and cars on fire. Akintunde Akishimola has more.
Masked youth broke windows and set fire to a leisure centre in Northern Ireland in another night of anti-immigration violence. Officials said the building in Larne had been used to briefly shelter immigrant families whose homes were attacked in Ballymena, some 30 kilometers away. Northern Ireland's Communities Minister Gordon Leonsai's families had been moved by the time of the attack. Violence first flared on Monday when 2 14-year-old boys were arrested and appeared in court in Ballymena after being accused of a serious sexual assault on a teenage girl in the town. The charges were read via a Romanian interpreter to the boys, whose lawyer told the court that he denied the charge. There have been a series of violent flare-ups since then, including the most intense on Tuesday, when hundreds of masked rioters attacked police and set homes and cars on fire. Ballymena has a relatively large migrant population.
Last night, certainly the motivation was racist, to my mind. I know there have been protests in Ballymena about an alleged sexual assault. I think that has been hijacked. Certainly last night was not about keeping women and children safe. There were families and children doing their swimming lessons last night and coming out to face a crowd in masks with bricks.
Police are investigating the damaging of property in the town of 30,000 as racially motivated hate crimes. Akintunde Akishimola for Osrc News.
And now to sports. Chairman of the Nigerian Premier Football League (NPFL), Gbenga Elegbeleye, has announced that the 2025-2026 NPFL season will commence on August 22, 2025 and run through to May 24, 2026, maintaining a consistent football calendar introduced in the just concluded season. Speaking during a media briefing in Abuja, Elegbeleye praised the success of the 2024-2025 campaign, which began on August 31, 2024 and ended on May 25, 2025. He described it as a historic milestone for the NPFL in terms of planning, execution, and overall integrity. The NPFL chairman also presented key highlights from the 2024-2025 season, which saw Remo Stars make history by clinching the title with 3 games to spare after their March Day 35 victory over Niger Tornadoes on April 27. A total of 380 matches were played across the season, with 286 wins, 94 draws, and 784 total goals. And still in sport, the Deputy Governor of Ondo State, Dr. Olaide Adelami, has reaffirmed the state's government's commitment to youth development through sport. He gave assurance while attending the grand finale of the second Adelami Tennis Grand Slam at Achievers University, Owo. Government House correspondent Zimo Ebiemi as the report as presented from our studios.
It was a vibrant scene at the Achievers University Tennis Court in Owo as the second edition of the Adelami Tennis Grand Slam came to a close with exciting matches and celebration of talents. The Deputy Governor, Dr. Olaide Adelami, described sports as a vital instrument for nurturing discipline, focus, and ambition among young people. He commended the organizers for sustaining the tournament, which he noted aligns with the government's vision of constructive youth engagement and grassroots development. Dr. Adelami also assured of the administration's continued support for initiatives that help unlock the potential of young talents across the state.
I play tennis, I play squash, I play table tennis, I play golf. I was conscious and deliberate about this because early in life I know the importance of sports. The essence of sport that we have not got division. I want to advise that the easiest way for you to develop interest in sports is by watching sports. If you want to acquire knowledge of tennis, go to a sports channel, the one that deals with tennis.
Speaking at the event, the Pro-Chancellor of Achievers University, Professor Bode Ayoride, expressed satisfaction with the institution's contribution to sports, especially tennis, which he said is fast becoming a strong point for the university.
Even in Abuja, he plays and people wonder whether he's one playing. He will defeat anybody on the field of tennis. And we also want to request His Excellency, whenever you are in a war, come and play with our students. Let our students exchange the racket with you. They will be encouraged. And we always tell them, your greatness as students may not be as a result of the fact that you have to work in any course. It may be through playing tennis or basketball or football. So this encouragement is highly valued.
In the men's singles final, Ajayi David emerged champion after a convincing